Do it. Make your dreams come true. Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
So why is it that it's hard for your brain? Well, there's some other things that you need to understand about what's sort of maxing your brain out by living in 2014. First of all, there's way too much choice these days, okay? You walk into the average supermarket, there's over 150 cereal choices in the average supermarket. It's no wonder you buy the same 3. The reason why is the second that your mind starts thinking I have to analyze something, it's going to try to default you back to autopilot. They've done these studies in financial markets where they take a look at, you know, when a company offers like a 401k plan, and they offer you a couple choices, and they say, here's the selections we've made, but you can do whatever you want. Do you know 96% of the people take the selections that were made? Why? Because the brain would prefer to work on autopilot, and doing something on your own would require higher level processing. Too much choice leads to no choice at all. If you're interested in that subject, there's an excellent book by Dr. Barry Schwartz at the Harvard Medical School called The Paradox of Choice that just lays this whole out. It's fascinating. Other thing, there's too much information. On average, and I would guess that in financial services it's more, the average American worker receives 173 emails a day. And as you know, you're spending 2.3 hours a day answering them. That's 83 days of your work year on just email. There's too many channels. There's 24/7 news. There's just so much information. And what does that do? Information that you have to process. It means your brain does not want to have to do any higher level thinking. Pace of life is too busy. Fear, risk, uncertainty. We peddle that at CNN. You guys tune in for it. But it also makes your brain want to go on autopilot. I suppose at some point you could just take one of these. Or forget it all. There's another version of this slide, but I wasn't sure if I'd get in trouble if I use that one. So here's the thing. What are you going to do? What are you going to do to trick your brain? So the interesting thing about your brain is that it uses the exact same strategy. Because what will happen is this. You'll be sitting at work and you'll say to yourself, you know, I really need to have that talk with my wife. I really do. I've been avoiding it for 6 months, but I really need to. And your brain's going to all of a sudden be like, uh-oh, wait a minute, Michael just said that he's going to have that talk. We need to get him to stop doing that because we want him to just avoid the subject like he always does, because it's much easier to be putsy about these kind of things because you know she's going to be a total raging, you know what about this, so don't do it. You know, I'm feeling a little alone. I'm feeling a little overwhelmed by that. I think I'll do it tomorrow. Or, you know, David is sitting at his computer and says, you know, I think I'm going to go to the gym tonight. Immediately. David's having an idea to go to the gym tonight. Immediately, let's stop this right now. Somebody tell him he's tired. Tell him he's tired because then we'll get him on autopilot and go home, sit on the couch again and have a beer. Your brain uses feelings to screw you over. So let's talk about overwhelm because that's a big one. Overwhelm is nothing more than when your brain is full. So if you want to do any higher level thinking, you need a brain that is well rested and that's empty, okay? The problem is, as you go through life, it's filled up with all kinds of crap that you have to do and the to-do lists that you need and things that you worry about and la, 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 la. And many of you start a to-do list every day. You finish 2 or 3 things, and then you use that as the beginning of the to-do list tomorrow. And the problem is that if you already have a full brain, and all of a sudden the phone rings, and it's somebody saying, hey, I need a report, and I need this, and I need that, and I need the other thing, and this, that's what happens. All those times you walk into the kitchen, you're like, well, why did I come in here? It's not dementia. You're not getting Alzheimer's. Your brain is full. And what you're going to do is whenever you feel overwhelmed, whenever you're in your work day or your life and you suddenly feel like, oh my God, I feel a little overwhelmed right now, or oh my God, I'm never going to get this stuff done, or you know, the drama associated with it. Super simple strategy. Take out a blank piece of paper, dump it all out. All of it. Just barf it out there like you got Ebola. Sorry, that was a bad joke. Terrible joke. Can't believe I even just said that. You're going to dump it all on a piece of paper. Everything, from the song lyrics to the photo albums you got to finish, to the present you got to pick up, to this, that, the other thing, to the PowerPoint. Because I'm going to tell you something. There's only 2 things on that freaking list that you actually need to do. And if somebody needs you, they'll call you. And if there's an emergency, you'll know about it. And at least now you got this. You got an empty head, so now you can do the higher level processing that you needed to do that you were trying to avoid.